There's been a stigma for a really long time on testosterone replacement therapy, whether that was from thinking it's just for bodybuilders or thinking like if I go to somewhere that does TRT, like it's known that there's issues in my marriage because my libido is horrible. And all of those are not true. I do think it's getting better because more men are talking about it, because there's nothing to be scared about, shy about. This should be talked about like your favorite show you watch on TV, because it is that life-changing. So I have recently changed up the way we kind of structure our programs here at Pure Balance. So we have 3 different avenues that we're going to go down from for women's hormones or men's hormones or metabolic health. So we're thinking like weight loss and reducing inflammation, that kind of thing. And so what these programs were really designed for is because instead of just coming in and, even though we are very big on education, there was still something lacking as far as clarity. And so, yes, I can educate you all day on hormones, but I want you to know where we're starting, whether that issue for you is you're not sleeping, your libido is down, you're not able to gain muscle, you've got stubborn body fat, whatever that is, and providing that clarity of how we get you from point A to point B. And these programs are structured in 3-month or longer intervals because, in all honesty, we're not going to get you where you want to be, not even in 3 months. But right now, we're very much on a monthly basis. And so we're stretching that out to a minimum of 3 months because that is the minimum it is going to take to see some changes and start gaining that momentum. And this gives us a clear timeline too to really coach and provide that education and that clarity that helps you see how you're going to get from point A to point B. And then once we're getting that momentum and we're there, that's when we can start talking about maintenance and how we want to kind of move forward. But the biggest part of it is being able to provide that clarity and outcome based so that you can truly and clearly see how we are different than any other clinic. So I implemented these changes because I was seeing there were people either not getting results or just not having clarity. And it was, our follow-ups would get kind of lost, or they'd be like, well, I don't notice any difference, and so I want to quit treatment. And it would be at the 6-week mark. And like I said, we're doing good to see that momentum at 3 months. So you can imagine that if you don't really see changes at 6 weeks, then that's okay. That's normal. We don't expect it that quick.
I'm sitting like 150.
So the benefit of having these structured programs is that clarity and knowing that you can see yourself like where you're at now and have that clarity that you're going to get to where you want to be. And we map that out over that 12-week span, and it's obtainable goals. And, we're not going to achieve, 100% success, like feeling 100% better in 3 months, but we are going to be much better off than where you are currently at. And I have found that providing that clarity around outcomes and is what you need to want to move forward with treatment, because you need to know that this isn't just big, and it's not just another prescription or like a walk-in clinic. This is medical provided weight loss, medically provided hormone replacement therapy with coaching every step of the way each week. with check-ins and touch points and education baked in so that you can take this in bite-sized pieces. And one, it's not so overwhelming. Two, you're getting so much more education around your own health that you're going to be able to use throughout your life. And that clarity with these outcomes and education and coaching is what makes the program better for everyone. And it's clear that this is not just your average clinic. It's clear why we are not insurance based, because this is not what any other clinic is offering or doing, especially those that accept insurance, because we are not like that. We are not going to have short visits. We're not going to have just you walk in, here's your prescription, and go on, because there's much more to it than that. And I was seeing that even with what I was already providing, wasn't providing enough clarity on the outcomes. And so we've structured it in a way to help bring out that clarity and bake the education in over a 12-week span. So some of the gaps that I'm most excited about with this new structured program is that clarity, because with those people that I've mentioned who have dropped off and from our old way of programming, and it's not that happened often, but when somebody backs out of your program, you think, okay, so what can we do better? And it was clarity, because I did not, if you're dropping off at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and you haven't been given clarity that you aren't, where you should be at this point in your journey, because there's a lot of optimization with hormones and with weight loss, and there's a lot to learn with it too. And I'm really excited about the educational guide that comes with our programs too, because there's so much information in there that it'd be impossible to talk about in one, even 2 appointments. And this way we can chat about it week to week through our apps, and you have this guide with handouts to very much make it more, let's say, hands-on and learning throughout the process, and knowing that you're going to get where you want to be, and that it's a journey and we're going to get you there. And the way it's structured, we're able to help coach you and be there with you more than we have previously. And I love that, because when we first opened Pure Balance, we did things differently and we're always evolving. But when we first started, we had people coming in each week. And so I was getting to talk to you and get to know you. And honestly, that really boosted our referrals. I mean, people loved coming in, they loved coming to Pure Balance. And I really was like, we need to get back to kind of our roots. I mean, we can't see every single person every single week, but I was like, what can we do? What's missing there? Because we were growing rapidly. And I was like, we need to get back to that, where people feel connected and cared for and talked to. It's not, and I was like, I want to get back to that. And that is a lot of what this is. It's not necessarily coming in weekly, but you're going to be hearing from us weekly. And so we're still going to get to know you. We're still going to have that close relationship and conversation and that coaching and that support that has been lacking. And I'm really excited about that, because it feels like we're kind of getting back to our roots of what makes us Pure Balance and what makes us different. So let's think about this. If when we do think about just our daily lives and the different things that come up from day to day, what our life looks like right now may not look the same next week, 3 months from now, etc. And The same goes with hormone replacement or even weight loss. Things come up, whether it's your schedule is changing or you're going on vacation, maybe for a month, and how I've lost all this weight. How do I navigate this vacation but don't lose my progress? And that is what our new way of doing things is going to really do, because that's what I'm here for, is to be in your corner for these things that happen in life. And treatment is never just a straight, clear path, and life isn't either. We have ups and downs. Sometimes even your environment changes up. From the weather can change how hormones are actually working, and we need to adjust protocols or provide more education, change diet up, look at inflammation. And that is what we are here to do, is to help bridge the changes that accompany life and make sure that we're staying on a path that at least is continuing to get us where we want to be, and we're not, going downhill, so to speak. And we're always here to help make those changes and bridge that gap that might be presenting itself. So if you have ever been told that your labs are normal, that's the one I hear the most commonly, is someone calls or they come in and they're like, I feel awful. I'm not sleeping, haven't slept in years. My marriage is not doing great. Because my libido is so poor, or I've done the diets, I exercise, most days of the week, drink the water, but I'm so tired. And whatever the issue is, there's a wide symptom range there. But what I hear is that they had their lab checked and were told everything was normal. And I hate that, because there is a difference in normal and optimal, and you can have real symptoms with labs reading in a normal range. And I would say, if that is you experiencing that, new programs is a great place to start. And what I mean by that is even just the roadmap. So what we do first is the roadmap, and that's for, it doesn't matter your concern. We do a comprehensive lab panel that is going to cover everything we need to get to the bottom of what is going on. And then I personally let you know what program is going to be best to get you from where you are now to where you want to be. And so this roadmap is going to clearly outline where we see deficiencies, and we go through all of that. We have a consult, and then we start the program if you want. If you can also see that I'm going to get you from where you're at now to where you want to be. And if you don't, then that's okay. At least you have answers. You've done the roadmap, you've seen your labs, and you have answers. And that's what it's about, is getting the answers that you've been looking for. Because what I find is that you have tried the supplements, you have had the labs done, you've done the diets, you've done the workouts, and you still feel like crap. So to me, I'm like, what is that costing you long term? So if you're going to continue to spend money on things that aren't working, I would say let's spend money on things that we can actually get answers on and then implement it. If you want to have a comprehensive lab panel done, get your roadmap, there's a few ways we can go about this. So one, if you're still kind of on the fence, if the roadmap's even for you, I do have some quizzes on my website. It's on the homepage there. It's free. You can take it. It really kind of gets to the meat of some of the symptoms you might be experiencing. And that clearly tells you, hey, yes, this is likely hormonal, or, well, it may not be hormonal, but we can still do some lab work. And so the quiz is a really good place to start if you're unsure if getting the roadmap is something for you. Or you can just go straight onto our website and book, or you can give us a call. We do labs here in office, and then we do our consult that reviews the roadmap and lets you know which program is gonna get you from where you're at now to where you wanna be. And we move forward with clarity and someone who is an expert in hormones and is in your corner every step of the way. So with starting either testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy in general, the starting point, what it looks like to a lot of people, I feel like is so far from what we do here, because that's just been the mainstream care for hormones, or none at all. And so I think it's hard for people to even picture what like good care is actually about. And so the traditional, especially for women, because we've honestly been lied to for a long time about hormone replacement therapy, and a lot of fears have been put out. And so I think that women have either been told, you know, you're not a candidate, or you're too young, or you're too old, that you're 10 years post menopause, so you're not a candidate. It's just not true, by the way. But I think that women especially don't even know what to think about hormone replacement therapy. And if they do, it's usually fear. There's some fear around it because they just haven't been educated on what their body is doing, what is actually available, and what can happen for them, which is actually improvements in so many different things. And for men, I do think it's getting better, but I have noticed, you know, after talking with my guys, there's been a stigma for a really long time on testosterone replacement therapy, whether that was from thinking it's just for bodybuilders, or thinking like if I go to somewhere that does TRT, like it's known that there's issues in my marriage because my libido is horrible. And all of those are not true. I do think it's getting better because more men are talking about it, because there's nothing to be scared about, shy about, or, you know, this should be talked about like your favorite show you watch on TV, because it is that life-changing that and I have found that with my guys, especially because I get a lot of referrals because they're feeling great, and they'll tell their friends and family, and I get referrals every week. And it's because, one, they're treated appropriately and they're feeling so much better. They want that for the people they love too and care about. And so they'll talk to somebody who's going to a different TRT clinic, and they're like still feeling like crap, and like, well, you need to go see Ashley. And that's just because, you know, one, I think the stigma around it is getting better, but two, knowing that you're going somewhere where a provider truly knows what they're doing and how to manage hormone replacement therapy and testosterone replacement therapy makes all the difference in the world. We are framing the appropriate expectation in the protocol and providing that clarity and education around it so that we don't continue to have this stigma around hormone replacement therapy and testosterone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, they're not short-term fixes, and it takes a long time to get things optimized. And so you should never think of this as like, I just need, you know, to do this for a couple of months and, you know, I'll be good. That's not the case. It takes several months to really get dialed in and understand where we need to be while tracking labs and symptoms together. And that's why I'm changing the programs up to a minimum of 3 months. Not to say that we're gonna have everything optimized in 3 months, but that is the minimum to really see that momentum and start seeing the changes that are to come. Now, that's not to say you can't stop hormone replacement therapy or testosterone replacement therapy, because I get that question too. You can stop it. Do you want to feel like you did before you started it? Then you can stop it. It's not like anything bad is going to happen from stopping, but you will lose the progress that you've made, whether that's your mental health or your libido or your fatigue, these types of things. You'll go back to feeling how you were before we started replacing something that was deficient. Okay, so that is the difference there. It's like, no, it's not a short-term fix. You do need it lifelong to feel good lifelong, which most people do. Once you feel good, you don't want to feel bad again. But there's no like harm in stopping. You're not just locked into something for the rest of your life. But from what I have found is people don't want to go back to feeling like they were. And if we do, so some signs that something is generic and cookie cutter protocol is, one, if your labs show like 2 to 3 things, that's based off of a cookie cutter protocol. And I say that because I've had that happen where they're like, I had my labs done. And I'm like, okay, you can send them over. And it's 3 things. And I'm like, I can't do anything with this. And they're on a protocol. Obviously, it's not working. And that's because it's cookie cutter and it's not programmed to the individual that is sitting in front of the provider. And we see this a lot, especially in some like of these hormone clinics that are more chain. So these chain clinics that are everywhere will have more of this kind of cookie cutter protocol because they've tried to make it standard, and it can't be that way. It just can't. Everybody has their individual needs and symptoms, life, work, stress, diet, allergies, sensitivities. All of this can play a role in how you are prescribed a protocol for hormone replacement therapy or testosterone replacement therapy. So our approach when we are reviewing your roadmap, so all these labs, we're not just going to go over like every single little detail. We're going to hit the high points of what your symptoms are, which labs are or nutrients or hormones, whatever's deficient, that's explaining why you feel the way you do so that you understand, and it's not on a like normal scale, because things can be normal and still be low enough to need treatment. And so that's why it's important to have someone who knows more on the optimal, getting to the root cause of things. So when we go over that, we hit those high points of what is causing these symptoms and connect those dots for you so that you finally get those answers. And I do love to educate, and I try not to just bore you to death with over education, and I try to make analogies or draw pictures on my whiteboard. And I find that people really do enjoy that because it makes something that can be complex more digestible, especially when it pertains to you and you're like, oh, well, that's why. And when it clicks, and then when you know that there's treatment, that's the thing. And people feel so relieved when it's like, yeah, I can tell you what's wrong, and you don't have to feel bad about that because it's like, there's treatment for this. And people are so relieved to hear that because usually for months, years even, they've been told that their labs are normal and there's nothing they can do, and they've just been suffering for a long time. And so to hear like, no, everything is not normal, and they get this clear plan and path and see and understand and know that there is actual treatment for this. It's not something you have to suffer through. The thing is you're not broken. These are real symptoms that are treatable with a clear path to move forward and get you feeling like yourself again. The patients I see who do the best are the ones who are proactive in their treatment. And what I mean by that is I'm going to give you all the tools and the coaching and prescription management, but you have to put that into action. And so, what I mean by that is when we're doing this coaching from week to week, and it's not that you have to make all these changes at once. That's why I want it stepped out in, a weekly systematic approach so that it can be, obtainable goals. And so when you are proactive in implementing these things, from fixing diet and getting in enough protein and drinking your water, and females especially tracking your symptoms so that we know what time of the month that this symptom is happening, when we're actually collaborating in your care and you're proactive in making these changes and communicating with me, then those people are going to be the ones who see the most progress and want to stick with something like this long term, because you're making changes that are going to benefit you for the rest of your life. So our Metabolic Reset is our 12-week program for weight loss. This program is really good for someone who is wanting to overall improve their metabolic health. So what does that mean? That means improve your blood pressure, improve your fasting insulin, improve your muscle mass, lose weight, all of these things that go together with weight loss. We're wanting to improve overall health. And so this program steps out in 12 weeks, so 3 months at a time. And it's really good for people who have tried diets or tried working out, and all of these things, whatever they are just not working. And they need that extra accountability and coaching to help get them to their goal. Our Balance Restored program is our hormone replacement therapy program for women. And this program was designed to really help bring clarity to women regarding their hormones and overall health, because we're never just looking at one simple thing. And it's for women who have been told that they are normal or their labs are normal, or whatever symptom, that menopause or perimenopause is a part of aging and you just gotta suffer through it. And for those women who know that they don't have to suffer through it, and they know that whatever symptom it is they're experiencing isn't normal, and want someone that is going to help provide that clarity in changing their life. And we have the Man Restored. This is a 12-week program for men that encompasses testosterone replacement therapy, that it's so much more than just a prescription. That's what it's all about, right? Is we want collaboration, we want clarity, we want answers. So this is not just prescription management. It goes so beyond that, because we need more than just a prescription and out the door. You need to know how to eat. You need to know stress and relaxation techniques. You need to know exercise and diet and all of these things that really help get you from where you're at now to where you want to be. And that's what all of my programs are designed for, is to provide that clarity and education and coaching, and just to know that you have someone in your corner who is more about symptoms and you versus just handing you a prescription and sending you on your way.